Well, no, not that. This one.
What is the Imperial News Network?
INN serves the Star Citizen community with up-to-the-minute news.
Oh
We
my!
bring the developers
I'll watch
and
this
events
again.
closer to the community.
And we love Star.
Wait.
What is the Imperial News Network?
INN serves the Star Citizen community with up-to-the-minute news.
We bring the developers and events closer to the community.
And we love Star Citizen, whether we're flying with our team or with our supporters.
Imperial News Network works hard every week to bring the verse to you.
We are the community's #1 source for all things Star Citizen.
And we're glad to have you along for the ride.
Okay, now see, I had an actual good excuse for that, just pooping on everyone and everything this week. I had to reinstall XSplit, so I literally had to rebuild my entire setup for the podcast from scratch.
So am I allowed to do my intro now?
Yes.
The only Okay. Thank you. Before we begin, Shiver has a question. Did you hit record?
Yes! Shiver! This is the first time I haven't done it in a year, and I had a valid excuse.
I have a question too, Jake, actually.
What?
Did you hit record?
You know what? It's my show now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Verse. This is the Jake Show. Jake only show where people won't heckle me.
Hello to all you pirates out there, pimping out your buccaneers, crying over your cutlasses, weeping over the caterpillars, and diligently diluting dangerous drinks to drag your dragonflies. Welcome to Inside the Verse, episode 67, recorded on Saturday, June the 11th, 2016. I really hate that date. It's not a very fun one to say, and I'm not sure why.
June 16th.
June 11th.
Oh.
One more month till free Slurpees.
What's a free
You're
slurp?
right!
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
What's a 7-Eleven?
Oh, come on.
Oh my god, David. Get out of here with your Canadian.
My name is David. I hate
Literal-
pirates.
literal
And that's all I have to
facepalm.
say. Pirates are whiny, they're complaining, they keep crying over their cutlasses, they're really annoying. No pirates, bad pirates. Joining me today is Nakara, the better half of INN. Really the only good part of INN. He's INN. Nakara is
Fact.
INN. Also Spade Pope. Nakara is Space Pope. Moving on,
I thought
we're
you
also
said
joined
Spade
by
Pope.
Spade Pope.
Lord of Shovels.
Yes. Lord and master of all the shovels. Moving on, we
Shovel
have Jake Acapella, who likes games. And he probably pirated games at one point.
Nope.
But now I'm sure he doesn't anymore because he's legit and stuff.
I've never pirated. Fun fact, I've never pirated a game in my life.
Really?
Yes.
It's impressive. First game I ever pirated was Morrowind.
It's a good one.
I had to pirate something.
Bethesda's sending Men in Black to your doorstep.
Yeah, whatever. Also joining us today is Mr. Splicepoint. Splicepoint runs a podcast, voices an angry man on bulkheads, and is generally better looking than all the rest of us. And that is his weakness!
I will take it!
Welcome to Inside the Verse, episode 67. Hey, Hellcat asks, I'm gonna answer this one question before we get into this business. Why has INN given so much power to CCT? He's mad with power now. One, I don't know who you're referring to. If you are actually referring to me, it's because no one else is willing to do it.
And, the last time I was on Inside the Verse,
Vince
CCT was
quit.
gone, and
Oh yeah.
everything just went to utter, complete crap.
I gave them Splice. I've been telling you this. I gave them
Like, we had the old
everything,
overlay,
everything they needed.
like, in tears beforehand.
It's not hard. Again, I'm just the only one willing.
I don't think you realize how incompetent I am. I
realize.
I really should not be running INN. But just like no one
Somehow,
else wants to...
seniority. That's all to rise up the ranks in INN. You just have to be around long enough.
You guys
Nobody
should
else
probably start
wanted
the
to do
show.
Yes. So let's move on to
That should be our
first.
that should be our
topic.
tagline, David. INN.
What?
Nobody else wanted to do it.
Realistically, all of the stuff that we do,
It makes sense!
because nobody else was doing it.
It makes sense. Real quick before we get started, for those of you who are here with us live, right before the show, you saw the next entry in the Bulkheads series, this time being a short about airlocks and the importance of wearing a helmet. For those of you listening to the recorded podcast, there will be a link at the end of the podcast on the screen, or it's in... oh my god, you're right. Hello, Base. Sorry.
Hello, base. Again.
They can
Hi,
hear
Base.
you guys, just not me.
You didn't miss anything, Base.
No, you didn't. Oh yeah, so if you're here with us live, you saw the short. If you're watching the recorded version of the podcast or listening to the audio, there will be a link in the description or on the end slate of this video. So you can go check that out. Congratulations to Bulkheads, by the way, for hitting 1,000 subscribers already. You guys just rocketed right on past INN. Although we're actually about to hit 1,000 ourselves. So
We should do something
hooray,
for that.
everyone.
We should do something.
We
for
should.
that.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe
so
we'll
let's.
have like a party with streamers and anyway. I'm gonna let yeah.
Sweet.
We're
So
about to hit
before we get to
2K
all
on
of that,
Twitch.
let's talk to Splicepoint, because you've been on. You were on once before a while ago, but
Didn't count though because
yeah.
it was ran by Dolvac.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. It was an adventure.
Who
So
are you?
we know that you voice someone on Bulkheads.
That's true.
Bulkheads
Bulkheads.
with an accent on the heads.
Yes. There is.
Bulky heads.
Tell us a little bit about your character, even though I wrote him.
You did write him. I take great liberties with the lines that you write.
As you should.
I play Kane, who is just generally a curmudgeon. Just angry and bitter and wholly apathetic to everything. And thinks that my odd man partner, Brock, is basically a complete and utter imbecile. And it's really a fun time because that's after I showed someone at work that I work with, they were like, "Oh, so you're just playing yourself?" You know,
Oh.
like, am I really just angry all the time? So it's been a fun time for sure.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you on Bulkheads, and I think we're almost ready to do the recording session for episode 2. So episode 2 is coming, guys.
It is coming. Fiendish has been working
Oh man,
like a fiend.
They've included me in the production chat now, so I get to see all the inner workings.
Against my you know,
yeah, I don't.
Oh no! I lost them all.
And
I
who
lost
did
all of
this?
you guys for a second, so I have no idea what any of you just said.
Oh, I was
I
just
said
objecting to you being
Yeah.
a part of our
Oh.
Bulkheads Discord.
As was I.
trust
as
me.
was I.
If these two had any say
I'm
in
serious.
the
I
matter,
have my forms filed here that I'm going to submit for your expulsion.
I haven't even done anything yet. David, you
Yeah,
are
exactly
okay.
why
never
it's
mind.
now. Now's the time before something happens.
Yes, it's true.
So
something's gonna
Bulkheads
happen.
episode 2.
Don't you worry.
Coming soon. So what else do you do, Splicepoint?
We run what Dolvac describes as a filthy casual Star Citizen podcast called DataSpike, which
Such
I
a
think we're
good
actually going to be
name.
recording episode 13 tomorrow. We're going to be talking about 2.4 if any of us plebes that don't have PTU access can actually get into the live build now that people are having issues. But yeah, no, it's a good time. And other than that, I just kind of float around and harass members of the community, and
if you decide to record on a
play
day
Overwatch.
Not the same day as E3, I need in on this podcast.
You are welcome to join us,
but not tomorrow because E3.
E3 is just, I'll leave it up to you to go do E3 stuff, and then I'll go consume by choice selectively what I actually care about, because as a whole, E3 has just become a
that's the point.
I'm gonna record
that's the
it.
Point of tomorrow's.
I'm gonna record it, and you could just watch me heckle E3.
Yeah, it's gonna be me and Jake heckling E3.
Yeah,
it'll be like Mystery Science Theater, but like the E3 version.
Thanks, Giant Bomb, for the idea. Headclot says PC Gamer Show hype. No. Opposite of hype.
No.
Did you watch last year's PC Gamer Show? It was the worst. And that's why we're going to heckle it.
Nakara is a true stoic. Just look at that man. Just
He's very content with his cowboy hat. It's not a full 10 gallons. Oh, it's just tank.
Let's move on to the actual Star Citizen content.
Nah.
2.4.
Yep, it came out and it's broken.
So broke.
I'm gonna call CIG out here again. I don't do this often, but I think it was sometime last year they promised no more Friday releases. And to be completely honest, they should never have gone back on that. They should not have Friday releases. Don't have Friday releases. Do I have to post it in giant big red letters on INN?
I told you this. I told you this before the show. They all really wanted to work all weekend. Okay? Can we really blame them for that?
I want them to have a day off, at least one day off, because I know that they're all insane. But like, guys, don't release it on Friday, because you know what happens? You release it on Friday, it's broken, and all like 20 of us that are really into Star Citizen sit there and try and connect and can't, and try and connect and then we just get angry, and then people go to stupid forums and write up huge angry, nothing works, CIG are the worst. And it's like, just release it earlier in the week, or wait to the next week. And
can you do your angry backer impression again? I really like that.
We're all angry.
I thought that was pretty spot on. That's exactly what I looked like a few minutes ago.
I mean, release some Mondays, and then you get 4 days to work on it before the weekend.
You get 4 days where no one has time to play because they're all at work.
That's right.
Don't release it on the day where it's like, oh, sweet, I can sit down and spend 8 hours in the verse, and no, I can't because I can't connect. Woo!
Pretty much.
All right, let's get off the hate train.
I just want to point out to anyone that says that INN loves everything CIG do, no, we don't.
We complain plenty.
Had some fun conversations with people watching our live streams over the course of the last couple weeks about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the truth is, you wait a half day. They'll put in a hot fix. They'll fix whatever the issue is, and in the meantime, you just go pwn some noobs in Overwatch, and it's just really not that big of a deal.
Shout out to my goons for hanging out with me all week, talking about Star Citizen. I actually had some really good discussions, not madness like I usually expect from those people. But
even this can be good. They just have to understand that we're humans too.
Complaining about goons is like you're not understanding that there's a spectrum.
Just like there's a spectrum of Star Citizen fans.
Oh,
you've got Nakara, who will answer anyone's question ever and is basically the nicest person alive. And then you have Jake, who will tell anyone to shut up and go away because they're bothering. I mean,
fact.
Or
no, but
Dolak,
there's a guy hanging out in our stream this week who is like to the point of not seeing reason Star Citizen fanboying in my chat, and I was like, oh, it hurts. It hurts.
So
Yeah, go.
Go.
See, right there, we
I
hamster.
always
Why
find that
can't we all
interesting
just get
'cause-
along?
Why can't we be friends?
Oh my god.
Oh,
No.
Ooh.
No. No.
We're gonna go into.
go
is
drink
this gonna
some
become
water.
musical
Try that
now?
again.
Why can't we be friends?
Guys, autotune was created for people like David, okay?
Yes.
Why can't we be friends?
The maker of autotune.
If I was
finished
listening to
writing
this
the code.
recording, if there is a recording, actually, if there is one and I was listening to it in the car and that came on, I think I'd just stop and go back to whatever was on the radio.
That's 90% of what we do, though.
That's true.
Okay.
That's
So 2.4 came out.
Yeah.
fact.
2.4 huge patch, gigantic.
Big patch.
Basically the biggest patch since 2.0.
You know what's weird? The game is now smaller.
Yeah. They've
Exactly.
removed a lot of extraneous stuff.
Speaking of removals, and I know it's not actually removed in the content, but thank goodness they removed the link to the tutorial.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, CIG, for getting rid of the freaking tutorial.
Which
Yeah,
sucks.
another
'cause
thing-
I actually really enjoyed the tutorial.
The tutorial's cool and the music
No,
is cool. It's very
the
top
tutorial
gun.
the tutorial is good, but it's been
will be cool.
broken for
Yes.
a year.
Yeah,
I
so
really-
for how many people posted in the subreddit that they had trouble, how many people are out there that just got into the game, tried the tutorial, and was like, nope, I'm out.
It's
Yep.
The
bad.
tutorial needs to be fixed. It's such a good idea, and the voice acting, like it's nice to see that in the game, and it's nice to see that this is where the game might finally get someday. But if it's broken, that's where
It
everyone
literally
starts.
does not work, and it's
Yep.
been broken for a long time.
The first thing I did in Overwatch was run the tutorial, even though it's Overwatch, and I don't need to know how to shoot things. Like, the tutorial is the first thing I do in any game. And if your tutorial is worse than Elite Dangerous is, which Star Citizens is by default because it's broken, then you've got a problem, because Elite Dangerous has literally the worst tutorial ever made. Sorry.
bad.
Their pre-flight
Yeah, I agree.
checklist, though, was really cool the first time you sit down to play.
Yeah,
That was cool.
but the tutorial is so bad. Anyway,
Well, my biggest issue with their tutorial is you finish your tutorial, you still don't know how to play the game.
yeah.
I've spent like 20 hours. I still don't know how to play the game.
I also agree with the sentiment of people who were talking about it, who said that vertical takeoff and landing probably not the best thing to start off the player doing. It's
No.
cool. The reveal is nice when you get out of the asteroid, but
Yeah.
It might actually be a bit better now with the more unified controls, but
even
Maybe.
still,
You know what?
Yeah.
The controls, like, so that's one of the biggest changes, right? In 2.4, this massive overhaul.
breaking news: Getting Mabelli says that servers are semi-fixed as per
yes,
will.
it's the update
Yeah.
that I told you about.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So the 2.4, the controls, right? They redid everything, which is
Yes.
great because the control overhaul is probably much needed. But my problem is it's so much effort to get to a place where you're comfortable with the controls, and everything that I had done was custom mapping, and I know I can carry them over, by copying the XML, and I'm playing on HOTUS, but like I just don't. I feel like I should give the new control scheme a try because it deserves that, but I'm just like too lazy to try and spend the time to figure it out.
Spoiler: it's the same as EVA.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
literally
just
the
too
same.
lazy to remap my HOTAS. I know
Oh,
I
that
need
might
to
work.
at some point, but
Like how in EVA control goes down, space goes up, strafing.
Yeah.
And then Q and E are roll.
Q and E or strafe?
No,
Oh,
Q and E
roll,
are
okay.
roll. That's how it is in a ship now.
That's
So
good.
it's all unified.
unified, which is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yep, and this is the type of work. Like, it's weird because we're in the game now, but they'll really pound away on this before Squadron 42 comes out.
Yep.
And this is probably the beginning of that. It's the okay, we need to unify controls so that people who jump into Squadron 42 can run it. Let's draw something up, put it out for everyone to test, and see what the feedback is. So this is their initial burst of that.
This is great. If you want an idea of what it's like to listen to our Filthy Casual podcast over at DataSpike, the two of the main dudes on our show are just trolling me in Twitch chat right now.
Yep.
Yep. It's the way to do it. So I want to quickly talk about the Buccaneer before moving on, because it's being fast-tracked. It's already in gray box.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's because they want to nail down the Drake style guide.
Yeah. And not only that, it's a fighter. You can actually use it in the game right now. It's not like it's a, research ship or something.
This is exactly what happened with Aegis last year.
Yep. It's just, and a lot of people, I want to preemptively stop the people who are like, oh, but this is a new ship. Why is it getting put out before my old ship? Why is it before the Banu Merchantman or the Caterpillar?
That's not how it works.
So is literally like
Everything.
10 other ships.
Yep.
So.
And it's probably going to happen with the Dragonfly again. The Dragonfly is going to be a tiny ship. It's probably not going to be long before it release. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 seconds. Literally. 5 seconds.
Yes.
I would
All right, where is it?
I'm kind of hoping that they launch the Dragonfly and the Dragonfly is just in. Like they do the concept launch and you get it's in. Yeah.
Guys, CCT from INN told me that it was going to take 5 seconds to build that ship. Where is it?
I like how
CCT
it was
is.
confirmed.
He's a mythical creature. Doesn't exist.
I don't know what all these acronyms mean, but it means my ship should be here now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, the Dragonfly is $35, which
Sounds
for
right.
everyone that cares means that they get to use it as an LTI token again. But keep in mind, and this is just
It's
a
a little
reminder I
baby
want to
ship.
give to everyone, LTI doesn't matter one single iota.
No. However,
Unless you're a collector
I'm very-
and want to reduce your overhead cost.
I'm very curious to see for this ship, what, like, how many people buy it? Because we haven't had a cheap ship in quite a while. The last one was the Reliant, I believe.
And even the Reliant was 65.
Yeah.
Nope. It was
there
the
had some-
Archimedes.
Oh,
The
right, the
Archimedes
Archimedes.
was-
Yeah. It was like $20.
$30.
But I'm also. What do you guys think this is going to be? Like, any idea what this ship is going to look like?
I want it to be a
I have
Tron
just
light
posted-
cycle, but one that can fly through space.
I have just posted in Twitch chat my idea of what the Dragonfly will look like.
I am not going to do him the honor of sharing
Please.
this on
Please
the video
do me the
screen.
honor.
No.
I spent a lot of time on this MS
No.
Paint drawing of the Dragonfly.
Yeah, I think you should show his off, and then you can show mine off too.
Definitely.
I don't know if it'll let me post mine in Twitch chat.
Hellcat says that LTI is a nice convenience, and I'm sorry. LTI is not even a convenience. Do you know how many hours you get if you have 2-year insurance? Insurance is done by the hour played. Let's see. 2 years in hours. How many hours in 2 years? Oh, 17,520. So if you have 2-year insurance on a ship, you can have 17,520 hours of gameplay before that 2 years of insurance runs out. How many of you have put 17,520 hours into any game ever, or into all games you've ever played combined?
Okay, but how many of these things change? Like, I realize that that's been stated. Like, is that really gonna be how LTI works? Like,
Yes.
really?
I have 5,000 hours in Dota 2.
Okay,
So
just
you're
leaving the
still-
game open.
So you're still
All day.
12,000 hours
And I
away
have
from running out of 2 years of
Probably
endurance.
at least 15,000 hours in World of Warcraft. At least.
So all the time you put, all the like 12 years you've put into World of Warcraft, you still wouldn't be out
I
of
took a break for a
insurance.
while.
You still wouldn't be out of insurance. On
I
a
think at
2-year
that point you
insurance
probably would be able to afford.
Hellcat
paying
says
for that
I don't
ship.
believe most things that CR says. That's not something that CR said. That was said
Not
by I
something
believe
CR
it was.
said.
It was said by I believe Matt Sherman, and Matt Sherman is
Yep.
one of the actual designers. That is the way it's going to work. This is
Yep.
not a CR promise that can change. This is This is how insurance is going to work.
There you go.
It's not real time. It's like when you log in, the timer starts ticking. It's your like in your hours played on Steam that time.
Look at the most hours played you have. Like, look at your most played game in Steam. Look at how many hours you have. That's what this is.
Yep.
So, female character model.
Yeah.
Did you guys
come
take a
along?
look
That's
at it?
awesome. That's been work in progress for ever.
Yes.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, female character model gonna bring all girls." No.
We're gonna have a whole new Tracer Gate.
Yeah. Here's what will bring in a more diverse cast of people coming into Star Citizen. It's when I can make actual physical appearance changes to my character. Not just gender.
Also,
Like
I agree.
hair,
It's when-
skin color, gender, face.
I think even more important than that is when the game will just run decently on, like, not a computer.
Well, yes.
Okay, you took it to the extreme.
David.
I took it to the thing that makes the most sense.
What Jake is saying is,
I'm
hey,
saying
the female character model is important, but the reason it's important is because of the overall aspect of creating your own persona in the PU in general, and that includes many other things besides just gender. But it is
I don't like
step.
being bald white man.
Neither do I.
I want hair.
I want a top hat and a monocle.
Hey,
That's coming. It's
I
coming.
know.
as we all know, though, you should just always be wearing your spacesuit, and
Yes.
and you know that's evidenced in the most recent Bulkhead short.
Yes. Always wear your spacesuit.
Always.
Always.
So, what do you guys? Here's a question. What do you guys think took them so long to get this into the game?
Priorities.
It's a whole new set of animations.
It didn't matter.
Well, it's not that it
Until-
didn't matter.
Well,
It's-
it didn't until like they're getting it in now because they need it for Squadron 42. Because Squadron 42, you're going to be able to choose your character and customize your character, right?
But here's
So-
the thing. Here's the thing. The male character model animations aren't even finished yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
So-
because we're working on things like the use animation and whether or not instancing even exists and works, and trying to get Port Olisar live and all of
Dude,
those
what's my
other things that are
favorite?
going on.
Do you know what's my favorite animation of all time? The ability to make bottles of alcohol disappear. So you just go, and then the alcohol is gone, and you have money. It's in the game right now. When you go and salvage bourbon from boxes,
Yeah. That's the animation.
your character just goes, and it's gone, and then money. Oh,
I love that. No,
It's
just,
amazing.
I'm not sure how many people here remember the black bar incident on Wingman's hangar.
oh yeah, I remember that.
That was like 3+ years ago.
Yep.
And so I think basically what happened was they started working on it then, but then realized that with all the animation changes they would have to make, they didn't want to have to make them all twice. I guess that must be what happened there, and they're just sort of getting to a point now where they're comfortable putting it in.
Yeah, I'm calling you out on your crap, David. It's been a year since our crowdfunding campaign, and you haven't fulfilled all of the stretch goals.
I haven't sent out shirts. Shirts were actually from after that, though.
For what?
I
We
gave
have
out shirts on a stream.
Better be
Okay.
careful.
Did you also send them out for the?
He who should not be named may start filing legal action against you.
Good. Send out the dang shirts, David. It's not hard. Just go to the post office, shove them in an envelope, send them out.
I'm going to.
It will take you an hour.
It costs
1
so
hour.
Much money. It costs so much money.
Well, quit buying VR games and send out the people's shirts.
I have quit buying VR games. I'm not buying anything now that
You
Overwatch's
bought
out.
so many. So many.
And then Overwatch came out.
You bought so many, David.
Overwatch.
You bought like $200.
Okay.
Overwatch.
Let's talk
So-
about Star Citizen.
Procedural planets. There was a fair bit of talk about the procedural planets in this week's 10 for the Developers. Brian Chambers talked about them a fair bit. It sounds like they're coming along really well.
Yep.
The tech that we saw was really, really early on. It sounds like they're able to do multiple types of planets now. And why are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head?
Year. We'll see it 2017.
Whatever. Let's not talk about dates. I'm not worried about
Quarter
that.
two.
Procedural planets is cool because the technology. I'm not sure that when I first backed for Star Citizen that I thought that all of that was going to be there when the PU launched or ever.
Nope.
It's pretty neat to think about the Prospector and the Orion and just anything that comes with exploration, mining, prospecting, and that you might be able to go do that anywhere. I didn't think that that was necessarily going to exist. I thought it'd be asteroid belts that were, pre-designed for that purpose, or maybe specific quotes landing zones that were actually handcrafted. But it sounds like maybe you might go anywhere because it's procedurally generated and have a whole lot more options.
That's a huge thing with this. Like before like I don't know, a year ago. No, there were no procedural planets. You could not access the entirety of a planet's surface.
It was going to be landing zones, specific landing zones.
Small landing zones on planets where you can go down and do stuff. But then apparently Frankfurt went, we can do it.
Good old
I
Frankfurt.
still think there will be a lot of planets, at least initially, that will not be procedurally generated.
Okay, so here's the thing. Nyx, when we see Nyx, we're seeing a procedurally generated planet.
Yeah. But do you think ArcCorp is going to be procedurally generated? A planet that is
not the landing zone
giant
itself.
city?
Well, no, of course it will. And then you just put the landing zone in.
Yep. Every planet we see is going to be procedurally generated, and Nyx. We're going to see the first one when Nyx shows up.
Like you'll be able to land. Say it's an unpopulated planet. Like you've got terrain and forests or mountains or whatever ends up getting there, right? Technology-wise, you're talking about literally orgs being able to duke it out, but on the planet's surface. Like you've now
with retaliators bombing from space. Like
you've now actually spanned like the whole thing. Like maybe we'll have caves and you can actually run around and have FPS combat, and it's like a thing. Like it's cool. It's cool.
Yep.
I think we'll see planets like Nyx procedurally generated, but I don't think huge city planets will have procedural generation yet, because that's a lot more complex.
I think that's fair.
You need traffic lanes. You need buildings to actually look like something. You need all of that stuff.
It's probably going to depend on the planet, but I mean, as soon as we see Nyx, we are seeing a procedurally generated planet, which is exciting.
Headcloud says, I think that ArcCorp will be a mix of procedural generated and handcrafted.
There are not many worlds
every
like that.
planet will be. Any planet that has a landing zone will be just that.
Wow. Something happened there.
What?
Yeah,
What?
definitely
Okay.
bugged out
Anyway,
for a sec.
what I was saying is...
We all died for a minute there, Jake.
In the lore of Star Citizen, there really isn't a whole lot of, world-spanning cities. There's ArcCorp, Hurston maybe, and there aren't really very many.
Yeah.
A lot of them won't be that difficult to do. In fact, it's funny because those ones might be the most difficult to do, and they're the first ones.
Start with the hardest. The rest will come easy.
The thing
because they're doing the Stanton system first. Sorry, David.
One thing that I think that CIG really need to take into account and really need to take action on is, I mean, the idea of orgs duking it out on planets for control of parts of those planets is a great idea, but planets are huge, right?
Yeah.
Like planets, it's a planet.
The gameplay needs to be balanced for it to actually work.
There need to be like 2 or 3 points of interest to control on a planet, and the rest of it is like fine for like people to land and explore, but not something for an org. But we need to be able, like, orgs need to be able to build like factories and bases to create income, and then other orgs and pirates can attack those. Like, there needs to be something for those large orgs
But they've got to be modular. Like, the way that this
Yes.
game's been built so far is not like, it's not going to be Star Wars Galaxies. I don't know if any of you guys ever played that, where like you can just build anything anywhere. Like, and it's a prefabricated, you know, box or building or whatever, but that you could literally just go build it. And they're going to have the little points like they have now in 2.4 in the hangar, where there's like the little dot and you can place the ship. Like, that's the way they're going to have you build things, I think, on procedural planets.
As long as they do that, it's okay, but they have to make sure there's something for orgs to build and defend.
I agree.
I still think that's going to be. I agree completely. I think that's going to be post-release. Personally,
I hope not. One of the things that they
not a stretch goal. It'll be post-release.
Here, it might be, and that worries me. My favorite MMO of all time is Dungeons and Dragons Online. It had the best crafted experience. It had the most compelling storyline and everything. It died because there were like 3 endgame dungeons. There was no end game, and lots of people with MMOs, they grind as quickly as they can because they want to get to end game right away. There has to be something for those orgs to do end game. What do you want?
yeah, but there's nothing. There is no end game in.
There's no end game.
There's no beginning game. There's no mid game. There's no anything. There's no levels.
But there's a game for orgs, right? Like there's got to be something for orgs to do. There have to be ways
for. There have to be mechanics for people to create their own narrative in the PU. And if that doesn't transcend just hauling stuff back and forth and interrupting people hauling stuff back and forth, we're going to have a very shallow, quote, end game. If you don't want to call it end game, that's fine, because I get you guys, there isn't one.
Progression isn't linear in Star Citizen.
That's correct, but there's got to be ownership. There has to be a sense of ownership somewhere in the verse for orgs.
There will be.
Of course.
I also think that people underestimate ownership of ships.
Well, yeah, and then I mean, people really don't understand the scale of Star Citizen unless you actually, like, even when you're in the game, because the really big ships aren't even in there yet.
Yep.
You know, the retribution is going to be like 2.5, 3 kilometers long,
and
like,
persistent.
You can put 1,000 people in there.
Think about it this way, though. Like, owning an Idris is log out when you log out, right?
Nope. Well,
So-
yes.
Yeah, Idris do.
Yes.
Idris
is the biggest ship that is not persistent.
Yeah. Let's go up a level. What's it? The Javelin?
Yeah.
That's the Javelin is basically the first raid content for an org.
Oh, yeah.
That is your first, and the Bengal is there too. But all there really is that we know about now for large orgs to do in the end is take over ships. There needs to be more. There needs to be space stations. There need to be bases on planets. There need to be something for people
I
to
disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think
Why? Sure.
Because Eve has done it for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And it works.
I mean, this is.
Eve's different though, right? Because I played Eve. I played tons of Eve.
It's still a
It's
sandbox
not actually
MMO.
It's not flying a spaceship. It's not FPS. Like, the difference. I actually love Eve. I really do. I love the promise of Eve. I even love the PvP like end game of Eve, even though it's got a harsh learning curve. I just don't like the gameplay.
Right.
And
so Star Citizen for me has always been, what if Eve's gameplay was good?
yeah, but then you need player-owned stations, and you need player like not SOV necessarily. Like, I'm okay with scaling back from where Eve is, but if it's not further along in ownership than Elite Dangerous, then we're gonna have an issue.
Oh yeah, no, that's an issue, and this is why, like, you know, people ask what's taking so long with Star Citizen. They have to actually make the game.
Yeah.
And honestly,
A person smarter than I will design that system.
I'm all for them making the game as long as they want until they feel it's ready. And that's all. That's the whole thing. Like, there's a lot.
I just worry that it might have the problem that DDO had, Dungeons & Dragons Online, because that game died within like 6 months of release because it had no end game. And
It's David. It's because it's a linear MMO. You can't really compare the two, sadly.
Yeah,
you
I wanted
can't.
to mention.
I'm just.
Players are going to set their own goals, right?
Players need to. The whole point
great.
of Star Citizen is that content is generated by the players.
True, but that's where I'm saying if you don't have the mechanics that David's talking about, it's somewhere. The truth is somewhere between your two guys' points, right? Like you have to have the technology in place for players to be able to go and sandbox their own content. And if you have nothing other than now I have the biggest chip in the game and it persists, so I have to defend it. If that's the only area in space where it's just that or accumulating wealth, then I don't think you're going to have a lot of people stick around because there's just not that much going on.
Okay, I need to make a huge problem with that statement.
Yeah, I have a huge problem with that statement too.
Okay, I'm gonna run down the list here. Cargo, mining, salvage, research, exploration, discovery, pioneering, medics, soldiers. You know, there's a ton going on. I haven't even got into the business side of things, manufacturing and.
You're right. But that needs to support something for other players to be doing, right? Those are all support, like, that's your profession. But I always felt like that's cool. In EVE, I can go mine and then I can manufacture, or I could go, you know, explore and get all this wealth. But that's what it felt like. I was just generating wealth to do nothing, right? Like that wealth needs to get back into the game somehow where I'm spending it to go do something.
There are a lot of things in Star Citizen for individuals to do, and even small groups of players. You know, you get 6 people in a Starfarer and you refuel things. You get a few people in a there's a lot of things for small groups of people to do that we know about. We don't know enough about things for orgs to do. For let's get our 4 retaliators and 20 cutlasses and let's go. What do we do with that? What do large groups of players do?
Well,
And
we
there
already
has
know
up other orgs.
we already know that they can capture space stations, so
Yep.
and hold them. I assume that once they have, and now we have the port modification system, so you got to assume that if you capture and hold a station, you'll be able to modify it. Correct?
Maybe.
That's what I'm hoping.
I
We
hope
don't
so.
know if that's what I want. That's all I'm asking for. We have to have some say in what we capture.
The mechanic is already in for defending a space station from other people. That's in. There's a mission for outlaws in the game right now.
I think that if you have a mechanic based around capturing and owning space stations, being able to repair them, because some of them we already know are very broken, being able to outfit them, because they're also huge. Like, you look at the Gold Horizon station, it's massive. So is Port Olisar. Most of it's not even fleshed out.
All right.
And so we already have that. Plus, you mentioned the Javelin earlier, David. People forget that the Javelin, when it comes into the game, will have nothing on it.
Yeah.
At all. That's a huge beginning game quest for those orgs who have a Javelin, is trying to acquire all of the weapons, the engines, the power plant, the sensors, everything for that ship, so that it can operate. And that'll be this enormous beginning game quest for them.
No, I think that's a great example, Nakara. That's the kind of content that we need, and I think that that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm not trying to say that there's nothing there yet. I think CIG has shown that they have plans to make sure the depth of gameplay is there, but those are the things that are most important to me because, like you, I'm excited to pioneer and explore and run search and rescue and do all this other stuff, but I don't think that a lot of that goes on eventually after the honeymoon phase ends with the game, unless you are working with other players in the community to try and achieve some greater goal that you can only accomplish together.
I'm sure
kinda
they have
wondering
plans
about-
for it. But
I'm kind of wondering about
I
that
gotta-
because
I do have to
Go
cut
ahead.
you guys off because we are
Yeah.
actually 10 minutes past the end of part 1.
okay,
we have to
go
go
ahead.
to questions.
Yep. So we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna take your questions in the chat. Don't go anywhere.
Questions.
Woohoo!
And we're back. They were talking about
Wait,
something.
Mid sentence, you interrupted me, CCT.
Let's-
I think
Uh-huh.
Nakara was
Someone's not
his
paying
point.
attention to the Skype chat. Splicepoint.
Okay. Time out. Nakara was in the middle of a sentence. You cut him off. He needs to finish his point, and then we'll go to questions, Jake.
Okay.
They don't even
I'm
know
the
what
guest.
the sentence is.
Okay, let's go to questions, shall we?
And that's all he wrote.
Oh.
Question. Anyone buying the new Polaris GPU?
Oh, hello, base. Sorry.
I am definitely. Yeah, I think I will. I'm gonna wait for benchmarks and everything, but great price point if it's decent.
I'm probably gonna go with the 1070.
I've only ever
fair
had
enough.
problems with AMD GPUs, so no.
I've only ever had problems with NVIDIA GPUs, so no.
I think I'm gonna put
1070.
both and try to cross SLI.
That'd be
It
amazing.
doesn't work on it. Like it needs so much more support for cross LSLI to work, right? Like it needs to be supported by the game, and honestly, if Star Citizen doesn't support it, then I don't care.
It's actually pronounced Crossley.
There's
Crossley, really?
there's only about 10% of games out there that actually support dual GPUs or triple GPUs or whatever GPUs. So I've always been the person to buy the really high-end single card.
Yeah, I agree. Single cards rule everything.
So a GTX 1080 is going to be my purchase, but not until later.
I'm actually really interested to see if
I need
Oh boy,
Oh man,
that's interesting.
what?
I think CCT needs a better down
Internet connection? Yeah.
How about Skype not be awful?
We
That'd be
need
good too.
Discord to start doing video.
You guys remember AOE 2 when you could put in numbers in chat and it would say random recordings, and one of them was sure, blame it on your ISP. That's CCT right now.
So we've got some more questions. Loop 3005. Am I the only one bothered by the fact that we don't have a mini Aurora below the constellation? Can't RSI produce a snub? That's what the Merlin's for.
Yeah,
He's saying he wants a
yeah.
snub that
But the
is
Merlin
also
is-
made by RSI to go on the booty hole of the constellation, not something
cool with
made by Kruger.
But that's what Kruger was
Why?
contracted by RSI to make that ship for the
But-
bottom of the.
Does
Yeah.
that's true. If you have a houseboat, did the houseboat company make your wave runner?
It's like I've
Yeah.
got a garage in my car, but the people that build my garage did not build my
A
car.
garage is not movable.
Me
No,
and
I'm with
your
you. I think it'd be
house.
cool if RSI made a snub. I had a Connie for a while. I've got a Carrack coming eventually, and I've played with the Merlin, and the Archimedes is something that I used to have as a token for LTI.
I think way more.
But-
I think way more important than that is for RSI to get more ships between the Aurora and the Constellation in size.
Yeah, that's true.
They
We need like
to
the
fill out their
two-man.
lineup. They need to fill out their lineup a lot.
Yep.
Uh,
Like the freelancer size.
Yeah, totally.
range.
Comrade Headclot asks, do you think exploration will be like an 1800s North Pole or South Pole expedition, just with future tech and faster travel times?
I don't know what
the
that
travel
means.
times might be faster, but the distance is also infinitely longer.
I
think
actually kind of go ahead.
I think it will be like that, especially since, and we haven't heard anything on this, long time. But we do know that there will be environmental hazards. There will be like space hazards. We know that there's going to be different levels of suit protection. I still hope that they implement food, and
Yeah.
having to have supplies of food to survive on a long exploration journey, stuff like that. So I want it to be like that, but unless they put in food, it won't be.
One of the things too that you have to remember is jump point traversal is going to be super dangerous for when you're trying to do it first time. That's going to introduce a huge hazard into exploration. And then they got to keep that. I really want to find a jump point and be like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah.
Do I really want to die right now? I'm a long way from home. Oh, that'd be amazing. Okay, David, next week.
No. Tyloop asks, when will David sing and guitar for the intro again? Not before I do.
I've got a question for you guys. If questions are,
They are.
weak in the Twitch chat at the moment. Come on, guys, pick up your game. What do we know about? Oh God, here comes CCT's guitar. What do we know about?
Keep going.
About grabby hands,
Yep.
right? Okay, like I'm fairly ignorant on grabby hands. How much now that we're starting to see like spacesuits and stuff, are we going to be like carrying or crap around, or do we know anything about inventory?
No, we don't really know anything. That was a tech demonstration, but I think they will implement it. It basically will allow you to. It'll work a lot better once they actually have it in the game, but it'll basically allow you to carry and move anything in the game. I have a sneaky suspicion some things on planets that are important to the atmosphere of a store or something you won't be able to pick up, just like in Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll add a lot of depth too, because you'll be able to like pick up and carry and move and place anything anywhere.
So you think it'll be similar to Skyrim? Like you have an inventory that disappears into like a list in the UI, and then you also have like I can physically move stuff.
Exactly, and I actually think I just had this vision of finding an AFK player and like surrounding him with huge boxes until he's like totally. Anyway.
So Grimhoff asks, will orgs have a social standing, like a bounty system, but for the whole org?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I can't wait for Orgs 2.0. I just can't. I know it's been a long time in the works, but it's one of the things I'm most looking forward to. I know that may sound crazy, but
I have to say, I'm looking forward to Orgs 2.0, and I'm not even really involved in the whole org thing. But like in term, at least I'm in INN, but I'm not, big into. I actually have a Star Citizen org, but not huge into that stuff. But I was really happy with what they did instead. I actually took like a sober second look at this star map recently, and it is amazing what they achieved.
Yeah.
Like, that is in a browser.
Yeah.
Like,
if they can do that, and that, I mean, keep in mind the star map did win multiple awards.
Yeah, lots of awards.
Like it was extremely well received, and not just from the Star Citizen community. That's what they can do. That's what Turbulent can do when someone gives them money and is like, go design the thing. And that's CIG probably saw that and were like, well, let's just give them more money.
Honestly, I have to you can take a second to give huge props to Turbulent, because they've been with CIG almost from day one, and they have been one of the only outsourcers other than Behavior, who's also been amazing, who've actually really held up their end of the bargain. Turbulent has been like key to this whole thing, and I love what they've done with the star map, because it's really allowed CIG and Sherry Heiberg to go in and refine the descriptions and the actual designs for all of the star systems, and I think that's really awesome, and deploy those changes. So
yeah. So, Desmarius asks, have you found a certain fashion designer that you like thus far, as far as the clothing available is concerned? I haven't actually paid much attention to the designers in particular when looking into clothing. I just know that they're fun.
I haven't wasted my time in Kasabo.
That's
No,
the
neither have
first
I.
thing I did. It's the first thing I did.
that
Let's go looking at the shopping.
that doesn't really surprise me, David. That's definitely I can't even talk today. Character customization is definitely something I think he would be.
It's
Super
right up
interested
there
in.
on my list of things. Not even character customization. I don't care what the face looks like. I normally just pick
That's
a
not
standard
character
face.
customization. That's character creation.
Whatever. Hellcat asks, what are the Gamescom CitizenCon plans from INN?
Shiver's going to Gamescom. Everybody else is going to CitizenCon.
That's so true.
For CitizenCon, we are going to need a raft of people to transcribe it, because we're all going to be at it, and I don't know how effective we're going to be at transcribing it while we're at it.
Probably not very.
No.
We'll find a way.
We'll find a way.
I think Citizen
It's
Chef
volunteer.
from the DataSpike team's going to CitizenCon as well, so you can catch up with him there.
We'll
We're gonna
meet
have
up.
a lot
Yeah.
of fun with it.
Really, they need to find a bigger venue next time, only because to make it so CitizenCon isn't just a large gathering of Star Citizen content creators.
Star Citizen insiders, yeah, totally.
It basically is that right now. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
but content creators are also some of the biggest supporters of the game, so it makes sense, right?
But it's only us.
yeah. Actually, wait, we're to take a 10th?
ShivCon.
Yep,
Yeah,
CitizenCon.
yeah, definitely. Shiver's gonna have to transcribe the entirety of CitizenCon.
Yeah.
Have fun, man.
Wait, I'm really bad at math. INN makes up 1% of the people going to CitizenCon.
Really?
Hey,
If there's 9 of us going and there's 800 people,
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
INN is 1%.
We are
1%.
We are the
You are the
1%.
1%. Oh gosh.
Okay, so
Uh,
Pegasus 2141 says, we obviously have artificial gravity in Port Olisar, so why the rotating wheels?
Because it's cool.
looks.
Because it looks cool, that's why.
Rule of cool, guys. Rule of cool.
Maybe
Very
it's a backup artificial gravity system in case the other one goes down.
I think it's just a rotating restaurant, so you get all the views.
Or that. Or maybe it's like a giant cycle track and they want to make it harder to cycle around it so it spins.
Another question from Desmarius. Apparently from RTV, Orgs 2.0 is ready, if not just about. When do you think it'll drop? I don't remember hearing that. What I remember hearing from RTV is that it's not even close yet, because Orgs 2.0 is not just Orgs 2.0 anymore. It's
Oh, you're back.
it's so much more than just Orgs 2.0. Orgs 2.0 is a complete redo of the entire website, and it's not going to be for a while. Maybe late this year.
Hellcat, we definitely did thank CIG off the top for the fixing of the broken tutorial. That was or disabling. It was definitely
At the top of the
top of
podcast.
mind. Yeah. Thank
I
goodness.
just want to quote here from the INN transcript from RTV. How far out is Org 2.0? It's not off the menu, but it's a larger rollout that affects the whole website. New forums, new chat, new everything. It's a spectrum of changes. Yeah, that's not going to be coming till... They might try and launch it for CitizenCon. If not, it'll probably be in there for the launch of Squadron 42.
Yep. It's not
Hey.
going to be for a long while.
Real quick, everybody in chat who is a subscriber to our dear friends at Bad News Baron, I want to see your Disco Lando emotes. Get them in there. I need this in my life.
Yep.
One only, though, per person, because Moobot will just jump right on your head.
Tiloop 3005 says, how much do you think they will expand the miniverse for the pirate base in 2.5?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's so big. It's got so much room already.
I don't think they need to make the actual map bigger at this point. They'll just stick it around one of the moons.
Yeah.
Doomsday.
Can you imagine though? Like you look at this, people need to understand the mini PU right now, which is huge, is 2 moons around Earth, 2 or 3 moons around one planet. It's not even a star system. The whole Stanton system is way bigger than that.
I can't wait until it's a whole star system.
And people are like, "Oh well, exploration's gonna run out in the first, week," and I'm like, "No, actually."
Hey, when are we getting cargo?
Very soon, I think.
Probably
2.5.
2.5 or
It's-
2.6.
I'm thinking cargo, and mining.
next
Really,
up.
when those two go in, that's for me when really things start to come alive. In addition to what we've already seen in 2.4.
I think you're going to see cargo 2.5, mining 2.6.
Yep.
Yep. Fact.
That's
Confirmed.
That is
right
that
here.
is-
We're developers. INN
Apparently.
confirmed.
Jake.
Right here. Right now. Confirmed. 2.5 cargo. Confirmed. 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 Confirmed.
I think CCT's having a little stroke over there.
I don't know who
So-
that person is.
I also think somewhere in there. Sorry, go ahead.
On RTV, someone floated the idea of 10 for turbulent. What would you ask them if they do that?
When's Orcs 2.0? No, I think I would ask them what kind. Actually, I want to know what the Galactopedia is going to look like. That's what I want to know. It's going to be hugely important for this game. A lot of people don't talk about it.
I want them to
It's gonna
ship
be important.
giant physical tomes with every copy of Star Citizen.
That
Eric,
would
your
be
camera's
like a
freaking
big-
out.
Like a huge,
Oh, never
like,
mind.
dictionary like this big.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Comrade
exactly.
Headplot, when do you think we'll expect landing on planets?
Oh, as soon as
2.6.
procedural's in, Jake thinks. Well, don't you think it's going to be like a year?
I think it'll be the
for
same time that we
procedural
can
planets,
land on ArcCorp. I think,
I think
those will
we
go in
can.
at the same
We're gonna
time.
land on ArcCorp pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's really hard to tell. That one's a moving target. I think they could do it tomorrow if they wanted to. But I would say,
Here's
I'm gonna say 2.8.
here's my thoughts. 2.4 is big because it opened the door to persistence, and I think there's actually a lot of stuff that they could have added, but they didn't want to because they want to make sure persistence works first.
Here's
Now that once this is stable,
Here's a
are gonna
fun
move fast.
thing. Here's a fun thing that people often forget. If you load into Area 18 and walk into those shops, you can buy stuff and it transfers to
Yeah.
Olisar just fine because that's how video games work.
2.4
really think-
is about that. That's what 2.4 is about. It's 2.4. Yes, it added shopping, which is great, and it added the Starfare, which honestly doesn't mean much. It's about persistence. It's about all of everything carrying over between different things. And once this is in, keep in mind, they've got multiple teams. Every one of those teams has been working on something specific, and they've all been working on them for like a year now. We're gonna have one after another large content releases. I think
This is
my expectation.
I think so.
2.4 is like when they added 64-bit precision
Yeah.
in 1.3,
And
if
then
I remember correctly.
we were kind of like, okay, this doesn't really mean
yeah,
much for
nothing
me as a
happened.
player.
And then 2.0 came out.
Yeah, exactly.
All the
2.4
fundamentals
is
are getting laid. Like the base
that.
is there, and then all of a sudden there's going to be just this like tidal wave of hopefully new mechanics and content.
So I would go ahead.
No, all you.
So here's the thing: they have these disparate pieces of content right now that exist in their world. I'm kind of wondering when they're going to tie together Nyx and ArcCorp and Crusader. I don't know if they'll ever even do that, but like
With
in the
Carrack.
existing mini PU. But
With the Carrack.
David,
Yeah.
I suppose so.
are you drinking a Heineken right now?
Yeah.
Gross.
Cass doesn't like beer, and I've chosen something that she can kind of stomach to try and persuade her to like beer.
No,
Yep.
but that doesn't mean you have to drink it.
It was cold.
Be German for once. Drink a warm beer.
So,
I don't
I got-
drink a lager warm. Lagers have to be drunk cold. You drink a stout or a porter room temperature, not a
dislike
lager.
Lagers.
Hey,
Lagers
Toulouse
are
has a
horrible.
question about jump holes. Do you think
Jump
that the
holes.
stable ones will have jumples?
Gross.
Do you think that the stable ones will have like security, similar to kind of like freelancer
Depends.
space?
Nope, they
Yes.
do not. They're not supposed to have a space station around a jump point. There's
And they're all
to be
supposed to
holes
close
in
and open,
space.
right?
No
Yeah,
Deep
I
Space
think-
Nine.
I think that we will actually see stations around jump holes in verse, not things that, not things that keep them open, but like
Security
you can-
stations.
what's that?
I think we'll see security stations. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can bet that every jump point into Terra will be guarded by a space station. Like,
See, I think the point of that will be like customs, basically.
yeah, yeah.
You know, you're bringing this shit into the system. If you bring this shit into the system, it's tariffed or whatever, taxed, and you have to pay.
Comrade Headclot asks, do you think that we will have planetary rotations, not orbits? Yes.
Confirmed by
It's been
Brian
confirmed.
Chambers.
Yeah, it's been confirmed several
And
times. You can actually go back and look at one of the times when they were on ATV when they had a segment. When they had a segment on Nyx, and they actually showed off how they can dynamically change the shadows on a planet, and that is being done because planets will have rotations.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out here to Brian Chambers because
Yes.
wow,
Yeah.
what an
The
episode! What
Golden
an episode!
Lion.
I
That
want to
was
give
a
a shout.
great
I want to give a shout out to Captain Syrup and the Mr. Canadian Syrup and the
Although-
INN transcript team for
Although-
transcribing that mammoth.
Syrup. You didn't have to transcribe bulkheads.
Yeah, that was my bad.
We have the script. David wrote
Uh,
it.
Yeah,
The
but
script.
we don't actually read the script.
Yeah.
I can attest that I don't read what David writes.
But there's a subtitles file for
The
YouTube
subtitles
video.
file is done after the fact. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
I
But
write-
it
I
exists
write
and it's
kind
the
of-
same thing.
Yes, I told CS that after he had already transcribed it. It was my bad.
Damn
See,
you, David.
confirmed.
It's all your
David the worst.
Yeah, but if I wasn't here,
But yeah, I think we're actually going to get pretty amazing solar systems out of this. I think we'll have rotation. I think there will be orbits, and I think there's going to be a lot of really cool space phenomenon in the verse. Can't wait for it.
Grimhoff asks, do you think the game should be all humans or have the option to be an alien race?
There will be the option to be an alien race
don't-
eventually.
Yeah, so
But-
CR said he said in 10 for the Chairman 5. Are you about to tell me I'm wrong, Eris? Did this change after the fact?
I know
No,
he
it's-
said it. I know he said it.
He
But
said that he
it's-
would like for you to be able to play as alien races down the road, like being able to play like Tavarin or Xi'an or Banu, and that they would even want to, if possible, create side similar to Squadron 42 style single player games, and then also implement the alien races into the PU. I think it's
Can
like 5-10 years though, not.
Can I theory
Shoot.
craft for a moment here?
Yep.
Okay, so one of the things is Star Citizen will not have subscription fees, but it needs to make money. So I think one of the things you're going to see is very large expansions to the universe. Things like now you can be a Banu and you can play their single player campaign, and you can join the universe as a Banu character. I think you'll see huge expansions like that are actually sold separately. And I think that will be part of what generates their income. And so I do think you're going to see, I don't know, 2-3 years after Star Citizen launches, you'll probably have the option to play this whole thing with an alien race. Maybe even sooner, it depends.
Yeah. So one last question before we start up the end of the show. Hellcat1337 asks, do you think we'll have space hookers and drugs we can use in the persistent universe?
Drugs, absolutely. The Endeavor is literally made to make drugs.
Yep.
Having
I think
space
one of
hookers
the
would
drugs
make
should make you not pass out from G-forces.
having
what I
space
think
hookers
Drug
would
be.
ban the game in several countries, so probably not.
I think
Even
I think there
drugs?
will be. Go ahead.
Even drugs, they have to name them differently because
Yep, it'll get
if they
banned.
name them anything real, they'll get banned. Keep in mind, this is an international game, and countries like Germany have really weird laws when it comes to
And
video
Australia.
games. And
Yeah,
Australia.
Australia.
Those bloody Aussies.
I actually
Get a
think
decent
the
government
whole
job.
space hookers thing will probably be in the game, but it might just be, very creatively done so that you don't actually see anything.
Fade to
And-
black.
Yeah, exactly. And
References.
guaranteed there'll be bars with dancing girls, but
You and the girl will just go out for coffee.
basically
For a cup of hot coffee.
a cup of hot coffee. Yeah.
Hot coffee.
Oh,
I get it.
Look
I
at
get
my
it.
video game references.
Oh
I-
man.
I'm ending the show now.
The other thing is that we actually, in terms of dancing girls, which I'm sure you'll see because it's a Mass Effect. Never mind. But one of the concept images we have for a bar on Cassell, which is second planet in the Goss system, has dancing girls in it. So you'll see that at least.
Yeah.
So drugs and strippers. There you go.
Every young
Thank you
space
for
pilot's
watching Inside the Verse, everybody.
Inside the Verse, Drugs and Space Hookers Edition.
Yep.
dream. Inside the verse, Jake is here and it's not completely wonked edition.
Oh, it was.
Except
Fact.
he forgot to record this, so if you're listening at home, you're not listening at home.
All right. Time for shameless self-promotion. Splicepoint, you first. Do it again.
Sweet.
You get two.
Uh,
You get two.
Bulkheads is awesome. You should watch it. DataSpike is our podcast. You should listen to it. And these clowns are INN, and they're all right.
Fact.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we're all right.
My turn. Tomorrow, twitch.tv/JakeAcapella. You can also come here. You'll see it there too. We are going to be harassing E3, and it's going to be a fun time.
What's the plan for that, actually?
Okay, we're gonna start streaming. You have to be here at 3, but we're
I
gonna
will be
start
here.
streaming at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Standard.
Daylight. Yes, EDT.
God, I hate that.
Yep.
The first press conference that we will be publicly shaming is the EA press conference,
God.
which begins at 4 p.m. We're gonna go through that. We're gonna start at 3:30. We're gonna make predictions. We'll just
Drink.
we're gonna drink a
45
lot.
$5 day one DLC.
Yep.
Oh, God.
And then after that's over, we'll have a little post impressions show, and then we're gonna take a break for like 3 hours. Then we're gonna come back at around, I believe, either 9:30 or 8:30. I don't remember if it's at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Eastern. Whatever Bethesda's press conference is at, that one. Yeah. So there's that. And then Monday, we're going to do it all over again, starting at noon Eastern time with Microsoft. And that's going to be a full day of nonsense.
Oh, my.
Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, PC gaming one that we're probably going to dip out of halfway through because screw them. They
Basically.
promise less crap. I don't believe them. You can also go to twitch.tv/JakeAcapella for just general nonsense. I'm not promoting Dolvac because he's not here. He bailed on me today and yesterday. So he
And his new
smells.
handle is just dumb. Papa Dolvac. I mean, we all know he's a father, but like, does he really need to rub in everybody's face?
Fact.
Yes.
No doubt.
I should.
Yeah.
I should not get in trouble. when he's not
Dolvac's
doing it
motto,
himself.
rub it in everyone's face.
If you want to watch mediocre live streams, the 7th best live stream, number 7 on twitch.tv, This is solidly in the bottom 10. This one here, but mine number 7. Twitch.tv/JakeAcapella. I stream Overwatch. I stream Star Citizen. I streamed Watch Dogs yesterday.
Oh, we froze. Wow. Complete and utter chaos.
What?
Your Skype sucks.
You need to call your ISP, bro.
I didn't say anything for the last 10 seconds, so...
no one did, because we couldn't.
Okay. Also,
It's a sign.
my review of Mirror's Edge Catalyst will be up this week at some point.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Spoilers. Maybe wait. But I'll tell you why.
Nakara.
So CIG was nice enough to not mess up the Buccaneer concept sale. So the Buccaneer made about 800 grand during its concept sale. I will have a full analysis of that up this week on INN. Here's my spoilers. They say the sale went very well. Not financially.
But there's a reason for that.
Oh, there
I will
is.
say, as
That's what
a
I'm-
mostly compromised third party, because I'm appearing on this podcast and I know these clowns, that Nakara's work, if you're trying to look and read about stuff about Star Citizen, Nakara does some of the finest analyses that are out there. So you guys should check out INN's website
Nakara
for this stuff.
Nakara presents fact in digestible forms. Me, I just tell you what's in my brain badly.
If you're looking for the non-shitpost
Yes.
subreddit content,
Yes.
it's Nakara that's
Yes.
doing a lot of it. And it
Literally
is in article
nothing
format.
else on INN.
But my spoilers for this are financially not great, but there's a good reason for it. I would love to see their actual numbers. Put it that way.
Probably lots of melting going on.
David,
I believe you're also on something this week, Mr. Nakara. Postcards from the Event Horizon.
I am on postcards for the
we
Horizon
need to
for
promote
3 hours on Wednesday.
we need to
Yeah.
promote Shiver's crap since he's not here for once.
Yeah. So
It's
check
going to
out
ShivCon.
check out Shiver's postcards from the Event Horizon 2300 UTC, twitch.tv/thebaseradio, and Nakara will be on it this week.
Yep.
This week we have fiction from Props. On Monday we have the regular 10 for the developer transcript. Tuesday, I don't think there's anything really this Tuesday.
Nope.
There might be. I might. Have
Might
my
be your article.
Concept sale. I might get it by then.
Good. Wednesday
I'm not
we should
giving
have
you a
Bug
date for my
Smashers.
review.
Thursday we'll have ATV. Friday we'll have RTV, and then
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
that all cut out, didn't it?
Yep. Here, I got it. Saturday, come on right back here to twitch.tv/INN live for another action-packed episode of Inside the Verse. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please go to imperialnews.network for all of our hot content. Follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to see more. Go to patreon.com/Imperial News Network if you want to give us your muns, hun. Helps us get to CitizenCon.
We'll see you in the verse.
I can't hear anything anymore. I think
I know.
Jake disappeared.
This
So-
happens at the end of every
It
show.
always happens because I'm
07,
playing
everyone.
music. I'm playing music. Goodbye, everybody. See you in the verse. Silence.
That's because you
Silence.
disappeared.
Yep.
Play the outro.
I did. Goodbye.